Hey guys, today I wanted to walk through my personal plan to retire with more than $5 million and just show that it really is possible for anyone to retire a millionaire, especially because I'm not a special case. I make a very average wage, at least at this point in my life right now. So I'm going to go as detailed as I can here, but for the most part, I want to keep this as a general high level view of my personal investment strategy. But I definitely do plan on diving deeper into specific things I'm invested in separate videos because I would love to discuss why I chose specific funds or assets and get your guys' thoughts on it. Tell me where I might be wrong or what I could be doing better. I want that to be a conversation because at the end of the day, this is just a means of all of us pursuing financial freedom together, and I'm not on any sort of high horse at all. So let's get into it here. What is my strategy? So I like to think of my money as barbelled. What do I mean by that? I mean equal on both sides, right? When you get into the squat rack, you don't put two plates on one side and one plate on the other. You put the same amount of weight on both sides. So when you apply that to money, what I mean is one half of my money I'm terrified with, I'm very safe with, and the other half I'm very risky with. So for me, what that looks like is one half maxing out the Roth IRA, and then I'm matching that aggression with the other half with riskier investment picks such as Bitcoin or individual stocks that I like. But before I get into the numbers, let me emphasize that this is in no way investment advice whatsoever. This is just what I do personally. Okay, so let's start with the Roth IRA. So this is very boring, very straightforward. I just have 4 buy orders a month, one on the 1st, one on the 8th, one on the 15th, and one on the 22nd, that are all for $145, and that's evenly split between two funds every single time, SCHD and MGK. So that's about $72.50 going into SCHD and $72.50 going into MGK 4 times a month, same days every month, just automatic, don't even have to think about it. So that comes out to a total of $580 every month, and then times that by 12 to get $6,960 a year, which is just shy of the annual $7,000 contribution limit that you can put into a Roth IRA. SCHD has an average annual return, including dividend reinvestment, of about 12.5%, and that's since its inception, the average since its inception in 2011. And MGK is sitting about the same since its inception in 2007 of also 12.5%. I think that's just a coincidence. I did not plan that out, but they're both around 12.5% average annual return. So if you look here, I threw in 12% just to keep it a little conservative, not really that much, and then factor in the expense ratio as well. I believe they both have a 0.07% expense ratio. So 12 is just a tad conservative using that annual average. And that pumps about 4.2 million out after 37 years when I would be 60 years old. So that's really good. I mean, that's just the Roth IRA alone. You know, a lot of people do 401ks or just normal brokerage accounts on top of this for a very safe fund investment. But the Roth IRA alone, guys, you could retire with $4+ million, which is absolutely phenomenal. And on top of this, when and if I get married, I will most definitely be maxing out the wifey's Roth every year as well. So let's take a look at those numbers, right? And I just threw a 30-year time horizon on this puppy, assuming I'll be married by the time I'm 30. Please, God, come through for me on that one. But let's just assume for now, okay? So maxing out the wifey's Roth, 30 years, that same 12% growth rate, that would get you about 1.8 million, assuming she never touches it beforehand. That is really solid, guys. So this would mean just from Roth IRAs alone, we would be retiring with around $6 million. So, I mean, honestly, I feel like for a lot of people, you could just stop the video right there, right? That's $6 million between two very safe, tax-free accounts, and that's more than enough for an entire family to retire on, right? That is an insane amount of money. And I think that can be hard to get through your head. Like, you really don't have to do much at all, guys. $7,000 a year, and you could be absolutely set for life. And I know that's a lot of money. $580 a month is not. I'm not trying to undersell that. That could be a tough stretch for a lot of people, but just making that work, this is absolutely crazy numbers, right? And even if you're late to the party, I ran a quick little calc for you. And let's say you want to retire by 65 and you're 40 years old and you're just starting now, right? So you got a 25-year-old time horizon. And if you were to max out that Roth every single year, you could still retire with $1 million if you had $0 when you're 40, which is absolutely insane to me. You could absolutely retire on $1 million. Maybe it'd be a little uncomfortable, but you could do it and not work another day in your life, right? Okay, so now what do I do with the other half of my money? The other half of the barbell here. So the majority of that money is going into Bitcoin, okay? And trust me, I can hear the groaning through the screens, okay? This clown invests in Bitcoin, get a load of this guy. I've heard it, I can take it, and I could make an entire video series on why I invest in Bitcoin, okay? So for now, all I'm going to say is this. Nothing gets a $2 trillion market cap by accident. That is an obscene amount of money, and that alone should get your mind turning, right? Thinking, okay, what really is this Bitcoin thing? Is it legit? But that's all I'm going to say about that for now. So let's get into the numbers here, right? So my current Bitcoin investment is $4,000, and I'm adding about 15 a day automatically. $7.50 every day at 8 a.m., $7.50 every day at 5 p.m. So that comes out to about $450 a month, give or take, depending on the month. So I plugged that into the investment calculator here at about a 15% growth rate a year, which it's tough to call with something as volatile as Bitcoin, but 15% a year is incredibly conservative given its historical performance, okay? And then at the end of that, that would pump out about $7.4 million when I'm 60. Now, this Bitcoin number here is very questionable, and that's why I didn't make a title saying how I plan to retire with $15 million, because I don't know if that's true, right? I'm not banking on that Bitcoin calculation to be true, and I don't even need it to work out, right? Bitcoin could go to zero, and this plan, as is right now, I could retire very happily if Bitcoin went to zero. And I think that's what's important about this, right? Is that's how you take risk, is when you can afford to be wrong about it. But let's just say for the sake of numbers, that comes out to 7.4 million. So with the Roth IRAs and Bitcoin alone, this plan total comes out to about 13 million if I retire when I'm 60 years old. So this is a plan that I put together, right? But as I'm going to try and stress as much as I can, as often as I can, I want this to be a conversation. I want you guys to tell me what you think of this, because I'm not a professional. I just seek a lot of knowledge and education on this topic, but I'm sure there's a lot I could be doing better, things that I'm just not even aware of. So I want you guys to see this not really as a guide. I mean, if you want to look at it as a guide, by all means, go have some base to go off of if you have zero knowledge in this area. But this is not this is not the most optimal plan by any means. I'm certain of that. So let me know what you think in the comments, or even just shoot me an email at the email in my bio, and let me know what you think. And I hope this was able to help somebody out there, give you an idea of what you should be doing, how easy it is. But yeah, just make sure to let me know what you think, please. And if you liked it, leave a comment, subscribe. But thanks for watching the video. Thanks, guys.